Very good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's seminar. Uh, Today we are going to discuss about a very scary topic that most of the people do in the mistakes that they do while they are planning to learn or while they are learning data science. This is going to be one of the very exciting webinar which I'm myself taking. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Omkar Raikar, and I'm heading the global team for analytics and research for Basel Analytics. I'm also a co-founder at Business Toys. So just to tell you, briefly what all we are going to discuss in today's webinar, it's majorly driven by the most of the stories which I've heard, the most of the people whom I have interacted with since last 4.5 years of my mentoring experience of helping people to build a career in data science. So these are very personal to me, and look, I have been very connected to these stories, and I thought these stories should be thought, should be brought to your notice, and you should not avoid, should basically avoid uh, mistakes while you are there, when you are in your data science learning journey. So to tell you about my experience, I have taken a very generic story, and I would like to share that story with everyone present here. A bit of non-interactive webinar, for today. The reason is this is more about sharing. I'll be definitely taking your question and answers in the end. So whatever questions you have in between while I'm in between of the webinar, right? You can make a note of those questions somewhere on the somewhere in the Word file or the notepad. And in the end, as I'll be heading to the Q&A sessions. We can discuss all those questions which are there relating to your career. So this is a typical story of any data science enthusiast, right? So like most of the times we come across, and I come across the same story, and the same thing continues when I ask them how did you how you started thinking about taking up the career in data science. Okay, so let us have, I've just taken one of the name. This is not personal to someone. It just unrelated. Okay, let's say that Mr. Anand. Okay, he is, you must have heard about this very famous, a TV show, the show which is coming in, yeah, and very famous, and everybody is keenly watching this serial, which is, Mirzapur season 2 on Amazon Prime. So most of the people, they watch it in the night. So the same person has, let's say he has assumed that he has watched this, a TV show, and he has slept at 3 a.m. in the morning. So after we sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning, he basically went to the washroom. It was very, in Bangalore, if you see, the climate is very, very good these days, right? You feel very lazy. You don't feel like waking up, but still you have to go to work. So, you go to washroom, and then most of the people, they take their phone in the washroom. That's what the recent survey about the phone usage has said, that people are spending most of their attention on the Instagram or in different social profiles like YouTube or Facebook in washroom, right? That's a new study, in fact. So let's say that this guy was just browsing through the Instagram profile, and then suddenly he got serious about his career. Okay, like, and then he started thinking, what am I doing with my career? I'm stuck in my career from last 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, whatever. And he started browsing top paying jobs in Google. Okay, this is usually what I've seen people doing, just searching for the top paying jobs, right? And in most of the articles that he read, he came across data science as the hottest job in the industry today, right? So like this is normally where people get attracted to. So we call it as a magnet, a magnet context, which people get attached to a certain job profile, a certain career, right? So this is the same thing happened with him, and then this is how he got interested in learning data science, right? And then the story continues. He thought, I should be building my career in data science. He had a dream, and then he started on to Google about it. He started to YouTube about it, like how do I learn data science. So he got with multiple videos, he started understanding the different terms, how he should study data science, and so on and so forth. And he decided, let me just take a small a MOOC course, okay, which is in fact a good idea. I'm not saying this is a bad idea. So, like he thought, let's take up a MOOC course. So there are many MOOC platforms which are available where you can learn some courses for free, right? So, like the same way, we have always that Sharma ji in our office or in our college or in our, the friends network who always, try to give some gyan about, okay, he says like, you learn Python and R, right? So that keep happening that, people keep saying that, you learn this, you learn that, like most of the time you must be hearing people talking about learning R and Python, right? As they say, these are the primary things which are these are the primary tools which are required for you to get into data science, right? Then there's some people say that some random person will come and tell you that okay, you need to also learn Hadoop, right? So they say, I say that Mr. Ramesh Boy said, you learn Hadoop. Hadoop is also important, right? After that, some people say learn Tableau. So everybody you come across, they're telling their story and then in their own way to learn this, to learn that, and then everything is mixed up. And finally, everybody is frustrated, right? So most of the people get frustrated. They try learning something, they leave it half there, and everything doesn't fall into the place, right? And this is how people get frustrated. This is how people lose their interest in learning data science, right? So what is the mistake, what is the mistake done by Mr. Anand in this case? Isme Anand bhai ki kya galti hai, right? Because he was not knowing from where to start. He was not knowing, like he just asked people, he someone said him something and then it just happened, right? So this is a typical story of most of the people who come for the mentoring to me. In last 4.5 years, as I said, I've spoken to more than 2,000 people in understanding the story about how they want to get into data science and understanding, like what made them interested in learning data science. I don't know. There are many of my students who are there here. So I think the first question I have asked them over here also, that is that the same question, what made you interested in learning data science, or why you want to do data science, right? So this is the first mistake. Since we are talking about the 7 mistakes that the people do while they want to make career in data science, one of the first mistake that I would like to highlight is failing to evaluate. Okay, failing to evaluate your current position. Okay, now it's not the 7 mistakes I'll be speaking many mistakes, but then it just happened that Mr. Dhoni, I'm a big fan of Mr. Dhoni. So he likes number 7. So I thought, I just put 7. There's no relation between, like I'm only talking about the 7 mistakes or more mistakes. I'll be talking about many mistakes, right? And one of the first mistake is, as I have, if you can see the screen, uh, is failing to evaluate your current position, right? And what I've done is, to understand your current positions, I have made one map, right? So to evaluate a position, you can, even you can take a screenshot of this particular map and try understanding which stage of the journey you are into. So let me just take a couple of minutes to explain you this journey. So the first and the foremost thing over here is, in the top of the funnel, if you see the top of the funnel, right? So the top of the funnel has something called awareness about the topic. You just get aware from some YouTube ad, or you get aware from some, like newspaper advertisement or anywhere. There are many awareness points that you can think of, right? So you just hear a term called data science, like attend some webinar, right? And then start getting basically you just start getting idea about that particular topic, right? The second thing that happens to anybody, like someone may be interested in learning data science, okay, but there is a lot of confusion in the people's mind whether they are interested in learning data science or they are aware about it learning, aware about the topic that is data science, right? So there's a big difference. If you see there are many people who are just aware about the topic, but then there are very few people who take an interest in learning data science, right? And there are many, this stage is very confusing state of mind where people think, will I be able to do it? Like there are many questions which people think about, because it's a very serious thing, and it's a new thing which is coming up. Will I be able to take a job in this particular field or not, right? So this is the second level of your journey. The third level of your journey is you deciding to learn data science. Okay, like first is the interest stage. Then you come and think, like, is it a time for me? Should I learn data science? Right? The third thing that comes into the place is learning. So once you decide to learn, you start learning it, right? You start learning it from, let's say, a MOOC program, or let's say a YouTube channel, or let's say joining some institute, or joining some like a degree program. So there are multiple options available for you for learning, right? So once you started decided you decided to take a particular program, then you start like evaluating options. From where should I learn? What is the best place for me to start learning about this particular topic, right? The next thing that comes into the picture is the next phase of your learning is you finished learning data science, right? So many people have finished learning different topics, and like they are basically in some other mode now. They are thinking to go to the next step, that is seeking job. Okay, so what I've done is, based on my experience so far, I have categorized different phases. So if you are, keenly listening to me, then what I want you to do is, right now you just have to pick up one particular point, right? Pick up one particular point where you start, like where you basically are in your current position right now, right? So first, think about this. This is very, very important, because this is how you can, like people fail to do this. People fail to understand where they are. Like many people, they decided to learn and straight away they are thinking of finding the job, right? That's wrong. Or if people are learning, sometimes they are in halfway of their learning and they decide to take up a job. That cannot happen. Only the people who have finished learning, then they can think about taking up a job, right? But like there is a lot of confusion around this. I want you to be clear in which stage of or what is the position in data science right now, right? Now, the next thing that that comes into mind is, in the previous slide, if you see here, we have seen where we are, right? Now we are trying to map, how on what are the different mistakes that can happen to us when we are in different stages, right? So in the first two phases, there are no much of like problems that we have, because we are just exploring, we're trying to gain interest, right? The problem comes when we have decided to learn. Okay, the problem comes when you have decided to learn, and from where to learn, and so on and so forth. So there are many mistakes which I have identified at every level of the funnel, okay, apart from the first two funnels. Okay, and I'm trying to basically map each and every mistake that I have come across from my student, when they did this, when I spoke to them, and I would like to share those mistakes with you, right? So let us understand the first thing. Okay, let's understand the first thing, the mistake when you decide to learn data science. And these are a few of the mistakes which I've just, like noted down. The first thing is opting for data science, looking at the top salaries. Most of the people, whoever come into the funnel of, deciding to learn data science, they think that just because of top salaries that I'm getting, I should be doing data science. Guys, if at all, whichever stage you are into right now, this could be the end goal. This won't be the first goal, a first immediate goal of your, you know, data science journey. Okay, because in data science, you'll be learning forever, right? So don't keep a goal saying, I need a top salary the moment I finish my course. Because data science is not that position where you straight away start becoming expert the moment you are out of any of the course, or the moment you are like you have started learning. Don't expect such, don't come with those goals saying I want top salaries, right? It's one of the mistake. I'm just listing down multiple mistakes, and maybe we'll have a consolidated glance at each and every mistake, right? The second is the failing to evaluate if data science is the right career choice for you. Many people do this mistake, like they think, there's one person, let's say in the marketing domain. Okay, there's one person in some X domain, they are really doing well in their career right now. But just because there's something, sexier which is come in the market, people just want to, like they just get distracted. Okay, let's see, what is this? So, they fail to understand, is this a right career choice for me? Okay, so this is a very, very important thing it's a kind of an introspection that you need to do. You need to speak to your mentors, right? You need to take a proper career guidance, thinking, it's a big decision that you're taking. So it's very, very critical for you to think and take a right decisions, okay, regarding whether this is the right career option for me or not, right? And there are certain, things, there are certain fact checks that you can do with respect to your career right now. The best way is to decide, like wherever you are right now, am I happy in my current job profile? Okay, is there a growth in my current job profile? If there is no growth, then what are the option? Is data science only option, or is there something else also? Is my background, comfortable with or compatible with the data science profile? So first of all, you'll have to understand what are the job requirements. Okay, if you become a data scientist, then what are you expected to do? Okay, can I learn those things? So basically, you need to ask some questions, and your intuition itself will tell you whether you should go for it or whether you should not go for it, right? So understanding this is very important. Many people fail at this step. So what happens is they come because they have seen the top salaries. Okay, they have come to learn because like because of multiple other reasons, which I'm basically going to speak about now. The third thing is not having a proper career vision in data science. See, now I'll tell you, there is always a vision for every career, right? When you take up a particular job, let's say you take up software job, you want to become a software architect in future, right? If you take up a marketing job, you want to become a marketing head of a particular company. Let's say you take up a finance job, you want to become a CFO of a particular company or anything. So there should be a proper vision and a proper way by which you understand to become so and so person in future, right? So mapping such requirement or mapping such career vision in your career choice is very, very important, which people fail to do. They don't understand, they just see that okay, there are good salaries, so I should be joining data science. This should be a right career choice for me. No, it doesn't work like that. Until and unless you have a proper plan, a proper thought process of what you will become in future after becoming data science, it's very, very important for you to have that particular vision, right? So the next thing is many people decide based on the peer pressure. This is one of the mistake, where since because my colleague is taking, I also want to take up a data science career. Okay, many people do this, and I really I don't encourage such people to learn data science, because you should be first of all convinced by yourself why you're learning it. Okay, what have made you to decide to like learn this particular subject? It's very, very important that you don't come into the peer pressure and then start learning data science. Okay, so there is one more, in fact I have listed down here, that is like people decide to learn without understanding job profiles. Very, very important, right? What they do is like they don't understand. In data science, they feel that data scientist is only one job profile. Data science is an umbrella, right? Inside data science, there are multiple job profiles. Okay, there are job profiles relating to machine learning engineer. There are job profiles relating to Python developer. There are job profiles relating to data analyst, data visualizer, business analyst. There can be, a data scientist for multiple domains, right? There are people who are called data architects. So there are multiple job profiles which come under this particular domain, right? So based on whatever your position right now is, what your relevant experience is and what you can do right away, so based on that you can start picking up certain skills, start learning those skills, do some projects based on that particular skills. And that is how you should be narrowing down. You cannot be keeping it very open ended, right? You need to study what are the job profiles, and like what are the different things that I'm supposed to learn in order to take up those job profiles. This is another very very important thing. So these are the different things which I've just listed down here. In summary, when you decide to learn, phase, is that I'll just repeat the previous image because there are some more people joined in. So in this particular image we have seen what is our position in current journey of learning data science. Okay, so here we have awareness about a topic. Are you just aware about a topic? The second is, are you interested in learning? Okay, you become interested in learning when you have researched about that particular topic, you have attended some webinars and things like that, right? The third thing is decided to learn. You, after researching, after being interested, you decide to learn, and then you start learning, and then you finish your learning, and then you're now seeking a particular job, right? And here are the mistakes that I have just noted down, so that you have a proper summary of this particular mistake at the stage where you decide to learn, right? And also, which I've not which the ones which I've not put over here is, you need to be also researching about from where are you learning it, from whom are you learning it. Are these people capable of really delivering you this particular thing, or is it a kind of a course where I can really pick up those skills? So this is a kind of other research that you need to do. So if you want to avoid these mistakes, okay, if you want to avoid these mistakes, you need to get into these profiles. You need to speak to the people who are data scientists. Okay, some people may encourage you, some people may discourage you, some people may say you may not able to do it, but then like you need to speak to a proper mentor in such cases, right? So you need to have a mentor, you need to who is able to tell you what is right for you and what is not right for you, right? So the next is mistakes. There are many many mistakes which I've noted down here. These are the mistakes which people do while they learn, right? So let's see one by one what are the mistakes that people do when they are learning. The first and the foremost thing is the learning without consistency and focus. Okay, one of the most important thing that you need to know, right? See, many people take up courses from different institutes, from like maybe some MBA from some I don't know which university, and some people take it from MOOC courses, right? So everybody is learning, but then learning with inconsistency, right? They learn today in this weekend, and then they'll somehow open it in the next weekend, and there is a whole mess where you're not learning consistently. It's just like you are learning a car. Can you be learning a car today and then after 8 days and then again after 8 days? No, it cannot happen, right? So you need to have a proper focus on a particular topic that you're picking up, and then consistently learn that particular topic and take it till its end. That's very very important. Okay, a learning gap of 2 days, 3 days is fine, but you cannot have a learning gap of 8 days. You cannot have a learning gap of a week or 2 week or a month, because you'll have to start all over, right? So it's very very important that you learn data science with a very very high consistency and very very high focus, right? The next thing that is that people do while they learn is, the most mistake that the people do while they learn is randomly picking some topic and they start learning, right? So you cannot be doing that. They what they do is they think that, okay, I'll learn Python today, I learn statistics today, I learn some machine learning algorithm today, without even knowing what is the proper sequence, right? Just because someone is throwing an article on something called XGBoost in machine learning, they start reading that particular article. And nowadays it has become so much distracting that you are reading a particular topic, or you are watching a particular video on YouTube, and you start getting some recommended videos, and then you think, okay, what is this? So you got your mind get whole messed. You don't understand whether I should be reading it right now or I should be reading it later. And sometimes some of the YouTubers, some are really good, but then some YouTubers, they don't even give a reference of what are the prerequisites that you need to understand this particular topic. And that really demotivates people when when they are learning, when they watch that video. So people feel that this is something which is very difficult, which I may not be able to learn, right? The third thing is learning machine learning without learning the prerequisites, right? So you cannot be focusing on learning the prerequisites. And some of the important prerequisites are, like linear algebra, or it could be statistics like inferential statistics or descriptive statistics, right? You need to be understanding some math, right? You need to be understanding some related topics to that particular, algorithm, and then you start learning that particular algorithm. So most of the people do this mistake of, not going through the prerequisites, right? And many a times the prerequisites are not spoken out. And this mistake happens because people are randomly learning from some blog or some article or some video where a proper sequence of topic is not given. And what I feel is, like that happens because people are randomly learning in an ad hoc way. So if your learning is in an ad hoc way, then this is not like a some software tool that you're learning, right? It's not an Excel, or this is not a, you know a .NET, or this is not a PHP where you pick up a particular subject and then learn some basics and then pick up any topic in between, start learning and implementing it. It doesn't happen like that, because here there's a process, right? The next thing is unsystematic learning plan and a schedule, right? See, people don't plan, right? You need to have a proper plan that, okay, this week I'm going to finish these many topics. And those topics need to be validated by someone. Those topics need to be told to you by someone that, okay, you learn these topics this week. And then, you need to have a proper schedule saying, I'm committing 2 hours or 1.5 hour a day, right, for learning this particular topic. You cannot be having a random plan of, learning it anytime when you're free. So until and unless you have a proper commitment plan, a proper learning plan and a schedule for learning a particular topic, you cannot. I'm telling you, I bet you that you cannot learn data science in a very, very ad hoc way like that, right? You need to be having a very, very systematic plan and a schedule, like how you used to have a timetable, right? Saying, like this is the plan, I'm learning this topic, and then you need to be studying that topic. Otherwise, there should be a proper mentor who is teaching you a particular topic and help you understanding linkage of that particular topic with multiple other topics, right? So the next thing is not learning daily. Yeah, this is something which especially when you're very, very new to data science, you're trying to understand the fundamentals. You need to be studying daily on a regular basis. You need to be understanding each and every aspect of every algorithm, aspects of every technique in statistics. So you cannot be missing out at this time, in the very early phase of your learning, that you're not learning daily. I have seen, some people taking up some weekend classes, right? They learn this weekend and then they go and learn again in the next weekend for 3 hours a day. And then, like, but I'll tell you guys, you cannot have a movie which is 3 hours long every weekend, which is so interesting, isn't it? And especially, the thing with the numbers are sometimes a bit boring, right? So you cannot have such kind of a enforced learning on your brain where you are spending 3 hours and trying to understand what a person is teaching, trying to teach you, right? So you need to have a daily, a short course, understand few things a day, but then understand very clearly. This needs to be there. This is very, very important, right? So understand, learning daily is, not learning daily is a big mistake, right? The next is trying to learn too fast. Some people expect, they come and tell me, Omkar, I just want to learn in next 3 months and I want to get into data science. They say my company has just laid me off. They're planning to lay me off, or there's a huge pressure on me. I want to leave my job right now. I just want to learn data science in 3 months and become data scientist. Guys, it's impossible. Okay, it's impossible for you to learn something in data science and very quickly and get into a job. No. And even if there are some courses, don't believe them, right? Even if there are some courses telling you that, there's a 1 month course to become a data scientist, there is a 2 months course, a 3 months course, a 4 month course, a minimum of 6 months. A very minimum of 6 months is what you need to systematically learn each and every topic in data science. Okay, because everything in data science is connected. Every topic is connected to other topic, and you cannot be just learning on face of it, right? So this is another very, very important point, that you should be, you know you should learn it daily. And second, you should not try to learn too fast, because if a particular data scientist expected to become a data scientist in 6 months, you cannot cut down that process, because the things that you're learning are, the topics that you're learning are huge, right? And you need to be properly digesting those topic in your mind when you are making a plan to learn them, right? Now, no, like next thing is I'm telling you some more mistakes while you learn, while you're basically learning. The another mistake that people try to do is just because like some institute is teaching some 20 tools or 30 tools in data science, they get attracted and they want to learn too many tools at a time. See guys, tool is does not define data science, right? Data science is basically a problem solving. You don't need, these tools are basically there to help you ease your process. And learning a tool won't lend you a job in data science. Okay, you cannot be a tool specific data scientist, because end of it, a regression in, be it in Excel or be it in Python or be it in R or SAS or SPSS or any other tool in the world, regression will remain regression or correlation will remain correlation, right? So there is no difference between the tools that we are using. Those tools are there. Like for example, I'll tell you, in case of R and Python, both the things, both the languages are basically serving the same task, right? And you cannot learn different multiple languages at a time. The same thing plays in case of a visualization tools, like you have Excel, you have Excel for reporting, you have for Tableau for reporting, you have Power BI, you have Google Data Studio. So if you learn any of the tools and if you learn visualization principles and visual analytics very well, you can learn the other tools in a matter of a two week or two. It's not that difficult if to learn tools, but then learning a process, learning, understanding that process and science behind that process is very, very important, right? So to be understanding what type of charts to be used when, and if you know what type of chart is supposed to be used, you can just use Google and find it out how to do it in Python, how to do it in R or any other tool, right? So that's a very important thing. People, you should not try to learn too many tools, but understand the concepts very well. Pick up the tools which are having a huge community support and huge acceptance in the market. Okay, the tools which are demanded in the market. Understand why you're learning the tool and what are the other tools which are available for for the same task, right? Now, the next thing is, learning only theory. Many people, I have come across, what they say, what they do is they take up some book from written by some author. Books are really good, but then books only cannot help you, right? So you should be, also having some data references. You should also do some projects. You should do those, implement those things practically. That's very, very important. Learning only theory will not help you, right? So learning theory along with the hands-on practice is important, right? So don't learn only theory. Learning only theory will not help you. And many of the times I've seen, like on some MOOC courses, people come up with some pen paper. I mean to say some pad on the screen, and they keep on writing and trying to solve some problem using pen and paper. Instead, it's a good approach to reverse engineer it, right? You know a particular problem, understand how that problem can be solved or what technique is used in solving that particular problem, and like what are the various means by which you can learn it quickly. I mean to say, learn the process of implementing that particular thing. Don't go into too much of theory. Okay, understand how it is implemented, move on, because like that's how it is supposed to happen, right? And also, they go in too much of a depth of that particular theory. What I feel is, you should not be going in too much depth, right? Because it will consume a lot of your time, and you should be going in that. But then, when you are doing a research, right? First, you understand the application of that particular tool, and once you understood the application of that particular tool, move on. Don't stick with that particular topic, right? And when you are again using it in some project in future, or when you're using it in your office, for some implementation of some project, or you're trying to write a research paper on it, maybe that time is a time when you start going into in the depth of it. And that time you should basically approach any academician. This has really helped me in my career, where if I don't understand a particular topic, I'll straight away approach a statistics professor of some very good college. So I'll connect him on LinkedIn and I ask him, okay sir, I want this particular help, right? So they will be able to explain you in that depth. But while learning those, that depth is really not required, right? So next is ignoring statistics fundamentals. Many people do these mistakes. They straight away start. I have come across learners that they are telling me, sir, we when we started learning, like someone taught us XGBoost. I was kind of shocked and I was taken aback, right? Now, how can you start learning XGBoost without understanding what is the statistics, what are the different, areas of statistics that you need to be learning? What are the importance of every statistical tools? You cannot ignore them. And without understanding the statistics, you cannot go ahead, right? Another mistake that is, focusing too much on coding. What some, especially the people coming from the software background, they're married to coding, right? They want to code each and everything. It's a good, but then you should not focus too much on coding. Only coding is not data science, right? Data science is combination of programming. It's a combination of understanding a problem statement, combining the mathematical background, or the statistics background that you have, blending everything and trying to approach a particular problem solve, the problem that you're trying to solve, right? Then some people treat machine learning algorithms like black box. They don't understand what is happening inside, right? So what they feel is, okay, this is a problem where I need to predict, whether the person is going to buy a particular product or not, or there is another person who's trying to predict, let's say, price of a particular, like particular product. So like there are something called regression and classification problems in data science. So people feel that, like, I can treat this particular algorithm as a black box where I give an input and I get the output. No, it doesn't work like that. Until and unless you understand the details about the working of a particular algorithm, you won't be able to establish linkage. You won't be able to understand when to use which algorithm. You won't be able to decide, like, which model I should be deploying, right? So this is another mistake that the people do. In fact, I have made some more, notes of mistakes that people often do when they're learning. Another thing is, treating data science as a tool. Like, many people think that data science is, kind of a tool where I just learn that particular tool, I get a job. No, data science is not a tool. It's a research. It's a science which allows you to do research on data, right? So you should not treat it as a tool. It's a process. It's a systematic process that you take up a particular data, you start exploring that particular data, you start getting insights out of that particular data, understand the problem statement that you're trying to solve, link all your mathematics that you've learned, apply that mathematics to the the data that you have, and then try to, like, optimize that particular problem. So there are multiple things that are linked to it. It's not a tool. It's not Python, or it's not, only R, or it's not any tool like Orange or Anaconda. No, it's not. It's just a process. It's just like, a systematic process of approaching to solve a particular real life problem, right? So the next is, not having a structured approach to solve a problem. Another big mistake that people do is, they, like, they got a particular problem statement, there's no approach, people straight away start, building a model on certain data. Now, people who have already started learning, who are attending my session today, okay, so those people must be understanding, like, you need to be having a proper mindset of what I'm going to do with this data, how I'm going to extract, the features of this particular data, and then, like, how do I decide what is important for me, what is not important for me. So there should be some structured approach, and, that is how we should decide to, solve that particular problem, right? The next is treating algorithm more important than the problem. Another problem that, there are multiple options available to you to solve a particular task in data science. Okay, what I feel is, the algorithm is more important. The problem is not important. They ignore the problem, right? So algorithm is not important, guys. The problem is more important. Are you able to solve a particular problem? Let's say, for example, there was one of the project which I was working with a company which was involved into, development of a dating app. They wanted to basically detect, a person whether he is a fraudulent, customer trying to, sign up on the app, or he's a real customer. Now, in such cases, you need some real time support, and, you need something which happens on real time. So you need to be understanding which of the models or which processes will make take more time, which processes will not take more time. So based on that, you need to be able to have your, deployment strategy, and you need to choose an algorithm which will work faster. Okay, so otherwise people will not wait for 10 minutes to wait with, keep their mobiles in hand to, just do the verification process, right? So some things are expected to work in real time, where the accuracy of that particular output is not much important. Sometimes the accuracy is more important, and so on and so forth. So there are multiple combinations and permutations which may, which we might have to consider, right? The next is ignoring data pre-processing. Many people, they feel that why you need to pre-process the data? We'll just jump in and start solving and applying a model building, right? These are the different, like after you start learning, these are the problems that come, right? The next is shying away from discussions. Let's say there's some very good discussion happening on LinkedIn, or there's some very good discussion happening on Quora or a Facebook, anywhere, right? So where there are data science groups, they don't even read what people are trying to comment, or they read, but then they don't participate in such discussions. They don't build connections, right? They don't connect with data scientists. So in such cases, you will never be able to, like talk to data scientists and understand what they do, right? What are the problems that they're trying to solve? So I highly encourage, if you are even trying to learn, you in any stage of your data science you are in right now, like just try to connect with these people, try to participate in the discussions, try to connect the things that you have, that already, to the problem that they're trying to solve. It's very important that you and interact with the overall ecosystem of data science, right? It's very, very important that you establish connections, know people in this particular field. Next is, there are some mistakes which people do after they learn data science. So what all things we have seen so far is, we have seen when they decide to learn, we have seen while they learn, and now after they learn, right? So this is a structured approach which I've used, so that you get to understand what are the mistakes that you should be avoiding, right? So another mistake, well, after you learn, is people think that, yes, I have learned everything, now I don't need to learn anything, right? So that this is another big mistake, that you cannot be thinking that I have finished learning data science. Data science is an ongoing learning process. You are not never going to stop learning data science. It's an ocean. Okay. So more you learn, more you understand. So it's very, very important for you to keep learning. So don't think that I have completed my curriculum, I have completed my syllabus, so I'll stop learning now. No. There are so many other things related to what you have learned already, and you can go into depth of different topics. So you cannot be skipping this, right? So next is, relying solely on certificates and degrees. What people feel is, I have a MBA, I have a MTech, or I have a MSc in data science, or I have a wonderful certificate from some institute. So I will be very, very, it will be very, very easy for me to get a data science job now, and you only rely on that, and then that's done. No, it's not going to help you. Your degrees are not at all important. It may be important in getting some, while you apply for a particular job, for a little bit, for document verification and things like that. That just tells you, that just proves that you have gone through a rigorous process, that's it. But then during that certification you have not done anything, then it's of no use, right? So it's just, it's not like there is some kind of a stick which, a data scientist or a trainer who is there with you, he will rotate that stick and you'll become data scientist. No, just having a certificate is of no value. You should really learn, you should really understand different concepts, and you should be able to build some, you should be basically useful for an industry when they want to recruit you, right? Only then you will be valued in the industry, right? So next is, thinking of, many people think after they learn that, okay, I've solved so many Kaggle use cases, and now I'll be able to work on any data science profile. No, the Kaggle competitions are way different than the ML use cases, right? Because the kind of a data which you get in Kaggle competition is already most of the time structured and pre-processed. But the thing is, in the machine learning use cases that you get in real time are altogether different. Okay. So if you feel that I'll mention 10 competitions which I've participated in, on Kaggle, that may not be useful for a particular company, right? It may only prove your model building skill. It may not prove your data pre-processing skill or anything, right? Next is not learning and practicing consistently after you learn. So what they feel is, now I have learned everything. Now I won't practice. I'll only focus on on the in getting job. No, you cannot be doing this. Every day until you get a job, you should practice. Okay, you should be taking up different milestones. You should be taking different projects and trying to solve those particular projects. It's very, very important that you consistently practice. You can pick up your own projects. You can ask your mentor. You can ask your trainer, whoever it is. That I'm planning to learn this particular topic. Is it useful for me? You can, if you have a mentor, it's really good that you take help of that particular mentor. Telling him, taking his guidance is very, very important. He'll be able to tell you what to learn and what not to learn, right? So learning continuously after you learn is also very important till you get a job. And even after you get a job, you should be learning new things so that you can foray into a new area of data science, right? So next is people not reading research papers after they learn. See, after you have learned all the techniques, it's a time for you to enter into the research domain and understand what are the new research which are happening in data science. You should be knowing, which are the new algorithms and which are the new techniques which have developed and got published under multiple research forums, right? In one of the webinar in future, I'm also planning to make people understand what are the important research forums that you can refer to, so that you get the access to the research papers and you start learning what is the latest thing which is happening in data science. So if you start mentioning this latest thing in your LinkedIn profile, if you start mentioning this latest thing in your in your resume, people will definitely be hunting you like anything. And this has really helped me in my career so far, that I read a lot of research papers and I get updated, so that if someone is asking me about a new topic, if there is a requirement which is coming up, then I can help them provide such solutions, right? The next thing is confusing between a project, task, and an assignment. A very, very important thing. Many people mention in their resume, think, I have done a project on Titanic dataset, right? I have done a project on Wine dataset. I have done a project on, the Boston housing dataset. Guys, these are not projects. These are small, small tasks or assignments which are given to you while you were learning. This cannot be projects. Projects are really big projects. You need to be understanding pipelining aspects. You need to be understanding like how to organize the data, from where the data is coming, proposing different components of the solutions, using multiple machine learning algorithm, the combination of supervised machine learning algorithm, unsupervised machine learning algorithm, and so on and so forth. So for the people who are very new to this particular topic, what I'm discussing right now, you can ignore. But then the people who have learned, who are in the middle of their learning right now, that don't confuse between the project, task, and the assignment. Okay, I'll define how it is. A task is something that can be done in 1 or 2 hours. Assignment is something, again, that can be 1 or 2 hour or 1 day or 2 day maximum. A project is something that can be minimum finished in 15 to 30 days. Okay, it should be such big process. It's not like 30 days means I do a particular thing today and after 30 days I do. No. So consistently you put effort for 2 3 hours 4 hours every day, and then you end up getting something which is really good, okay, which is useful, okay, for industry. So that can be a project. Don't think that the small projects are tasks which you can mention in the resume. You may mention, but then it won't add much value. But if you do one very good project, okay, only one very good project, which is defining your efforts in learning in data science, that's what you need, right? So the next is the mistakes. Here also there are many mistakes which I've noted down, which will help you to decide, right? What are the that these mistakes you shouldn't do. Then these are the mistakes while searching job that people are doing. And nowadays, trust me, my LinkedIn messages are flooded with people who are asking me, sir, refer me for jobs, refer me for job, and so on and so forth. I really don't want to discourage you saying that, but then really there are some blunders that people do when they search job, right? The first and the foremost thing is this. And now like, I know you'll be laughing, but then still, yes, relying on some sexy institute to offer 100% job guarantee. Guys, it cannot happen. Okay, this nobody can do. Okay, like many people go by the marketing campaigns that are run by different institutes, that saying we will give you 100% job guarantee. But don't think, because nobody can give you a guarantee, right? That guarantee comes out of you, the way you practice. People can give you opportunities, right? Definitely they should be providing you endless placement support, right? When you get a particular task, a mentor should be helping you to do that particular task and show it to the that interviewer. Access to opportunity can be provided, but then I think trusting someone that they'll give you a job guarantee is the biggest mistake that you can do. Okay, and there are many people, I'll tell you, they have done their courses from multiple institutes. They come to me and they say, sir, I was promised a job and then now there is no job, sir. Now how you can, sir, please give me some some work in your company. do something, because I've spent lakhs of rupees in doing this particular course. I've spent around 4 to 5 months in learning that particular course, and now there is no job. So don't do this mistake on relying on some institute that they will give you 100% job guarantee. This is completely driven by you, right? The second is mistake is not applying for job. People, what they think is, now have learned everything, now I won't apply, people will come to me. No, it won't happen until and unless you apply for jobs, apply for internships. And sometimes, people, I ask them, how many jobs you've applied? They say, I've applied for 10 jobs. 10 jobs won't help you to get a job, right? So you should be having and applying at least 15, at least 15 very good quality jobs a day when you're searching for a job. So if there are any people who are over here, like trying to get a job in the market right now, don't think that I'll apply for one job and I'll 10 job and I'll get a job. 10 job in a month is like nothing, right? So you should be at least applying 100 job in a month, and then you say that now it is not happening. That means there is some genuine problem with the way you apply, or there is some genuine problem with the the resume that you have built, right? So there could be. So these are the things which you need to be keeping in mind, that you cannot be sitting idle. Companies won't come searching for you, but then you should be making them accessible to them, yourself accessible to them, by applying for these jobs, right? The next is not answering interviews in the fear of rejection. I have come across this. They say, Asar, I'm not getting job. I ask them, why you're not getting job? Because I don't go for interview. Okay, because I fear that like they may ask me something. The experienced candidates are doing this. They say they may ask me something and I'm not prepared at this moment of time. See, guys, if you lose the interview, you have lost opportunity, right? Someone has been coming, knocking your doors. You really don't know what he needs, and what it may so happen that what is what exactly he needs, or many people might even be, ready to train you on things that they have, and they might take you. So it's okay to get rejected. Don't think that like I'll get rejected, so I don't want to. Many people say that, okay, I'll get rejected, so because I won't be able to apply for next 6 months. I say that in that case, you better be prepared, right? And then go for the interview. But the process always delays that. They never get prepared and they never go for the interview, right? This is another very genuine problem which I face with the people whom I've dealt with since 4.5 years. The next is not building connections with the community. As I said before, even after searching, after even after completing data science, who will come to know that data science? You should be basically a part of community. You should be participating in different groups. You should be helping many people when they ask some question, if you know the answer for that particular question. So if until and unless you do this, you won't be an active participant in the community. Nobody will come to know that you're searching for job, right? Next is begging data science influencers for jobs, right? Yeah, it feels very bad to say, guys. I'll tell you, uh, I see so many messages on LinkedIn, not only on my LinkedIn but others' LinkedIn, that people are literally saying, sir, please give me a job. I have done this particular certification. It doesn't, it looks like then you are a very unmatured person who is trying to immature person trying to apply for jobs. There should be a matured approach. You build a project portfolio, approach a particular individual in a very standard way. Like, for example, you have built a particular project, you take a validation about your project from someone that looks good, right? And if he feels that this is what I may also be looking for, he may ask you, are you available for open to opportunities, right? So such that looks very, very matured approach. But then messaging everybody every day, sir, please reply me, please reply me, no, that doesn't happen like that, right? So you should be having a matured approach of applying for jobs, right? Very, very important. The next is commenting interested on every LinkedIn job that comes. You might also have seen this. People are just saying interested, interested, interested. There's a list of 1,000 interested people who are applying for the same post. Now how do that particular person think, and understand, out of those 1,000 people who are saying interested, how do we pick and choose? Impossible, right? So you need to be having a personalized message, checking the requirement about that particular job first, what he want. And you should basically customize your projects and customize your profile based on what he need, and maybe send a mail or a personalized message on LinkedIn. Don't just say interested. It really won't impress that particular person, right? So avoid doing this mistake. This is one thing which I wanted to highlight. And this is, I think the best opportunity which I've got for, helping people in understanding what are the major mistakes they did. The next is, some more mistakes. So among some more mistakes, the first is not being prepared for interviews on fundamentals. So they say that, okay, like I've learned everything now. I am ready for applying for data science jobs. Okay. But then like when the interviewer calls, we just ask some basic questions and the person is not able to answer, right? So he says that I had studied this around 6 months back. I don't remember this. You cannot be giving this excuses when it comes to fundamentals. Who will trust you and who will take you, right? So it's very, very important that you be on your toes and be aware of most of the topic, if not very much in detail. People will understand if you have really learned it or you have not learned it, but you cannot be skipping the fundamentals. Those are very, very important. The next is not being prepared for explaining projects. See, sometimes people are comfortable with fundamentals, but then they have done some very complex project and now they are not able to explain that particular process, project to the interviewer. And especially during the time when you are answering interviews online or over a telephone. Most of the time what happens is you get a telephonic interview call from, a recruiter. They ask you certain question and suddenly they'll call you and they'll say that, I we have an opening, would you like to be, you say, would you like to be interviewed? You straight away say that yes, I'm ready right now. What I'll say is you buy some time, right? Buy some time from the recruiter. You say, can you call me in half an hour or 1 hour, right? Because I'm engaged in some personal work or whatever it is. Revise, read your resume from top to bottom once again. Understand what are the doubts which are there, what are the different aspects that you need to be focusing on, or keep one cheat sheet for the interview ready, right? That's the most important thing. You need to be documenting what are the expected questions that you may be having. Also, what you can do is you can prepare a list of different questions that may be asked during the interview, and every time you update it the moment you get an interview call. That's a very good thing. You can have a big question list, and you can be randomly revising it during, whenever you are preparing for some interviews, right? The next is using too many technical jargons in resume. The people who pick and select a resume are most of the time HR people, and HR people, they select a resume purely based on the, requirements. And sometimes what may happen is they may not understand what you have written in your resume. They may or they may not understand, because it depend on what kind of recruiter that particular person is. So if he find that, there are too many technical jargons, then your profile may look irrelevant. Okay. Then what I recommend is keep the language that you're using in the resume very simple and less of technical jargons. Okay. The next is taking rejections too seriously. Like, I don't expect that you will clear a data science interview in one go, one shot. Very difficult and very rarely that happens. uh, if someone reject you, don't take it very seriously. Okay. Until and unless you get a job, you can keep applying. Every interview will be a big lesson for you, right? And you can all, don't repeat your mistakes. Whenever someone has asked you a mistake, I'll tell you one important trick that, people, I always recommend my students. When you are getting a call from the recruiter, always ensure that your call is on recording. Okay. When you're recording a call, like you can go through that particular call once again and make a list of different questions that were asked, right? And what you have answered, right? So it's very, very important that you record a call so that, you get, there is a recording option in every smartphone nowadays, right? So it's important to evaluate how your performance was, and you will be listening to yourself till you come to know what mistakes you have done, and you will avoid those mistakes next time, right? So now these were the different mistakes, guys. And to tell you frankly, one of the best thing which I have learned from MS Dhoni in his career so far is something that he said, which is very, very important, right? And that is this video. Okay, I'll just play this video and you can listen to it. This is a very, very important and striking point that he has said. We can just listen to him, right?
My only suggestion or advice would be, which I keep saying in all the interviews that I give, process is more important than the result. The result is a byproduct of the process. But in today's world, we are so much focused about the result that we get away from the process. So take care of the process, take care of all the small things, and eventually you'll get the desired result. You know, we always keep complaining, oh, we should have gotten more and all of that, but it's actually the byproduct of what we have done. So if you prepare well, if we execute well, and if you're honest to ourselves, more often than not, we'll get the desired result. If there's a shortcoming, it's always a learning. So all the best.
He says that the process is more important than the result, right? And he at the same time says the result is the byproduct of the process. Okay. And following the process while you learn is very, very important. You can like, I think when I upload the video, I can also give you a link of this particular video on YouTube. You can refer to it. So this is what exactly he says. I'll repeat once again what he said. So he says that the process is more important than the result, right? And the result is a byproduct of the process. Okay. And this is very, very important. The striking thing which I have, and I have always followed this. Building processes is more important. And building process when you learn and following that particular process is very, very important, right? Now, since the question comes about the process, I'll just throw some light on, this is something which I always do in most of my webinar because there are new participants coming in. So you can make a note of what kind of what kind of a process or what kind of a learning path you should be following, right? First is strong fundamentals in statistics. Then you should be learning a Python programming very, very well. Then you should be going to study, you should basically learn the ML fundamentals, machine learning fundamentals, SQL, NoSQL, like databases like MongoDB, MySQL, and things like that. You should also be learning a little bit of big data, Hadoop, Hadoop Spark, little bit, not much. At least you start understanding what the data engineers are speaking. This is optional. In fact, you can skip this particular thing, but then it's good to learn, right? Next is very important, Tableau or Power BI, any of the data visualization tool. You can even learn, there are many tools which have come up nowadays. There's something called Domo, which people have started using a lot. There's also something called Google Data Studio, which is becoming very, very famous these days, right? Any of the visualization tools, picking up learning, very important. Next, the cloud, learning a little bit about cloud, about the deployment processes, how cloud work, creating instances on cloud. This is something which is important. Next is deployment, how to deploy a particular deploy a particular machine learning or a deep learning model into the system, into the application or a web application or Android application. Important process, because especially when you're approaching for some senior level positions, you are expected to know how the deployment processes work. Then you can shuffle this. You can learn deep learning first and then learn deployment. This can be shuffled. But then like what you can do is you can start applying machine learning jobs after learning all things of machine learning, and then start learning deep learning, because after learning machine learning you can still apply for some jobs, apply for some interviews, right? Next, this is how the entire path looks. This I do in every webinar that I conduct. Also, if you see my past webinar series, I focus too much on teaching basically helping you understand what are the important topics that you should be learning in statistics, right? And I will be definitely doing some, I think even this topic we have covered, that is Python programming. Also, some aspects of data visualization and storytelling are covered. So I am trying to cover each and every component of this entire learning path, right? And this is a very, very flexible and very, very easy learning path that anybody can follow, right? And this entire process, guys, trust me, it takes you more around somewhere around 7 to 8 months, like you finishing your projects. If you want to learn it systematically, everything, 6 months is the minimum time, but then to a maximum of 7 months or 8 months you can expect to learn everything. And even after completion of 7 months, don't think that you'll become an expert. You'll just become eligible to work on some data science profile. You'll become an expert in that particular domain when when you become a seasoned data scientist, is when you have 4 to 5 years experience in data science itself, right? That is become when you become a season where you start earning those big paying checks. Don't expect things to work immediately, saying I'll get a very big paying check. You may be getting based on your current job profile and how much is your salary currently. So it completely depend on the negotiation that you have between the recruiter and the you. But then don't shy away from taking some lower salary initially when you're starting up a career in data science, right? So what it takes for you to get a job in data science, again, I have said this before, it's hard work, perseverance, commitment, focus, and sheer dedication. Very, very important. Okay, don't shy away from these five aspects. You can call this as the five fingers while entering into any field, not only data science, any field, right? Very, very important for you to have these things, right? And that's it.